So we find our seat and we find our posture. And I just want you to notice today if there's any habits of your posture that are habits of tension. So we're just bringing some consciousness to any tension in how we sit. There may be a lot, and that's okay. We don't have to fix any of these things. We're just becoming conscious to it. And that might mean you relax your jaw or your shoulders a little bit, or you might adjust your posture so that it's a little more upright or a little more comfortable. Remembering that ultimately moving in the direction of relaxation is going to help us. It is not a requirement that we be perfectly relaxed, but moving in the direction of it, that is noticing any tension that can be easily released. And allowing, if it wants to release. And for those of you who sit a lot, noticing now in this moment, is there the way I sit holding some tension that I haven't noticed before? Maybe I feel very relaxed, but now I've been sitting this way for a few years or months or days, whatever, and I'm now starting to notice, oh, I hold my jaw a little tight, or I hold my neck in a way, or I will just be aware of that. And again, if that's easily released or adjusted, then you just let it happen. Otherwise, you just become awake to it. You want to give your body permission to relax. That does not mean to force your body to relax. It means you have permission, body, to relax if you feel like it. We'll just do a little breathing pattern to get started, which will help with a sense of relaxation in the body. We're going to breathe in 5, hold for 5, breathe out 5, wait for 5, breathe in 5, hold for 5, breathe out 5, wait for 5. As we do this, just start becoming awake to the experience of the breath in your body. So wherever you are now, just let your breath exhale, and then we'll breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, hold 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, wait 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, hold 2, 3, 4, 5, wait 2, 3, 4, and now in your own time for a few breaths. Now let your breath become natural. In fact, really emphasize the naturalness of it by not controlling it, allowing yourself to wait for the in-breath to come in when it wants to. Allow yourself to wait for the out-breath to go out when it wants to. Focusing in on some part of the body, maybe the belly today, or maybe the nostrils if you want to really work on the concentration. And we'll use a label at first, in for the in breath and out for the out breath. So it'll just sound like this: in, out, inside your head. So we're practicing two things at once here. We're practicing feeling the sensations of the breath in the body and bringing our attention back to them when we notice that we've wandered away. So that's the first thing we're practicing, concentration. And the second thing we're practicing is dropping the experience as it arises. It's as if it's sand that you're just letting flow through your fingers. Your attention is sort of swiping through the sand, rising up, and it all drops away, and then it swipes through the sand again every moment. You're really doing this. There's no room left for interpretation. If you start to interpret something, you have to have held on to it from the past and brought it into the present. There's no room for commentary or judgment. That again refers back to the past. It may just be a moment in the past, but you're in the past. You're holding on to something that's no longer there. There's certainly no room for trying to fix or improve your experience. You're dropping it before you could ever do that, right? It's as if it's like we're the guy in Memento, except it's 1 millisecond. We're immediately always arriving, oh, where am I now? Because we're totally dropping what's arising. So this is a almost paradoxical practice at first. You are trying to control your attention to keep it on one part of your experience, the breath, the sensations of the breath in your body. And at the very same time, you are letting go of control of your attention and dropping whatever comes up in attention the moment it comes up, like a hot potato. You just drop it. This is a way of purifying your attention on the breath. You start to notice things. You'll notice where you get interested in the breath. You'll notice that emotional feelings that come up on the breath hold on to you much tighter than non-emotional feelings. You'll notice what stories want to grab you. You'll notice what part of the meditation practice itself has grabbed you. I have to do this. I have to focus hard. I have to get relaxed. I want to feel good. Totally normal, totally fine. We just notice them and we drop them immediately. Don't push them away or reject them. We just don't hold on at all. Let them turn into whatever is next. I'm totally okay with not having this experience. I'm totally okay with having this experience, and I'm totally okay with not having this experience. That is really what equanimity is. You can take it or leave it. Epictetus, the Stoic, described this as you're sitting at a dinner table and the food's coming around, and you don't reach out to grab the food before it gets to you, and you don't hold on to the food after it gets to you. Just let it pass on to the next person. You just stay with what's on your plate right now. Empty plate, full plate, half full plate, tasty food, not so tasty food. You don't know what's coming around. The most be your favorite side might be coming around, or something you really aren't looking forward to. You let it come around, and then you let it go past you. The ones you love and the ones you don't love. So this is another way of describing the Taoist sort of instruction that we've been using as well, the giving attention without intention, as we're just seeing what's there without doing anything to it, without trying to hold on to it or figure it out or fix it or judge it or improve it. Ultimately, without even trying to name it, right? In and out is a very vague name, and that's okay for now. But everything else, we're just letting it be there without even needing to name it. As you walk through your house, you don't name the walls. You're not like wall there, wall, floor, wall, ceiling. You don't do that. You just let them go. If this instruction has sort of moved you into a new territory, you might want to explore that territory. Even as I move into some other guidance, you can just ignore me and just stay with this experience of the breath where you're concentrated on it, but you're also dropping it at the same time, where you're moving your attention to it, but you're also not holding it at the same time. Your attention and awareness is just light, right? It's just like sunlight. It doesn't need to change what it's illuminating. It doesn't stop you from driving through the town just because there's light hitting you all the time. So the light of your attention, the light of your awareness shines on your breath, but it doesn't do anything to stop the breath or interfere with the breath. It doesn't have anything to say about the breath. It's only illuminating the breath exactly the way it is. And for those who've been doing this for a few weeks, and if you haven't done it, you can go back and look at the YouTube videos after this guided meditation. Start adding in the whole body in between the in-breath and the out-breath. So it's sort of in-breath, out-breath, whole body. Now this requires a move of the attention, a zooming out of the attention. So the out-breath drops down. You start to zoom out to feel the whole body breathing, top to bottom, back to front, inside and outside. It can be like a millimeter outside of the skin, so you're taking the whole thing in. And then when the breath starts coming back in, you zoom back in on the breath in the area you were focused on. And we continue to drop the experience now. So it's a little more challenging because we're actually doing a little concentration movement. So first you're going to want to control your concentration to pull you out, and then control it to zoom you back in. That's okay, that's normal. But then you start to add the dropping into the experience. So we're dropping the in-breath as it arises. That means we're letting it flow like a river. It just passes by. And then we drop the out-breath as it arises, letting it flow moment by moment, millimeter by millimeter as it breathes out. And then as we zoom out, we drop the whole body. That means I'm willing to have this experience of my whole body just the way it is. But I'm also willing to not have this experience of the whole body just the way it is, meaning I'm allowing that body to change, to disappear, reappear. Literally, that's what it means. I am zooming out and I'm dropping the body. That doesn't mean I'm rejecting the body. I'm not saying anything bad about the body, but if the body disappeared in the next moment, I'd be okay. The body completely transformed the next moment, I'd be okay with that. Now, for some of us, that might be very fearful. So maybe just try imagining dropping the body and it comes back as something better and nicer and feeling better. That's not dropping what I'm suggesting, but it's a way to start to get around any resistance to the dropping. You're allowing this body to change into something, anything it wants to change to in the next moment. And in the next moment, when there's a body there, you just let it go again. And then you zoom in and you let the breath happen. If you want to use a label, it can be in, out, whole body. In, out, whole body. Willing to not have this experience the way it is. I'm just willing to. The things that may be likable or unlikable about this moment, I'm willing to not have them. Perfectly willing to see what's next. As you start to get subtle with this, you'll start to, it's almost as if there is a kind of fist in your attentional mind. And you start dropping, it starts releasing moment by moment. The habit of it is to grip, so you have to start releasing. Eventually, it'll be open. And you won't have to release anymore. It will just have dropped everything. It will be automatically dropped. In Mahamudra, they call this automatic emptiness. But emptiness is not a very good word for in English. So it might be automatic aliveness is a good word. So that takes some time. So you're practicing opening that fist of attention so that you can allow the aliveness of every moment to be there. If you get just a taste of that today, just a taste of that aliveness today, and that is a good day of meditation. Those tastes are very important. You don't have to grab onto them or hold onto them. You just allow them to affect your nervous system so that you remember what it's like. And that will allow it to pull you into that type of experience more often. Really, what we're noticing here is when we aren't dropping it, so that we can drop it. Now, for those of you who've worked on this, you might start finding yourself falling back into awareness, because awareness is the source of automatic aliveness. Awareness automatically drops every experience. Awareness doesn't hold on to anything, and it's immediately accepting of whatever's next. So you might start finding yourself dropping the breath, dropping the body, but you have to sort of start dropping the mind as well in order to fully drop those other things. And then you might find yourself sitting in awareness. And awareness just sits there and immediately is a dropping experience. And it's a dropping of everything, not just your breath. Now, if that confuses the mind, stay with the breath. If that starts to feel the direction you were already going, then fall back into that. And what's happening now is we're allowing everything to be dropped. Everything, not just the breath, every experience just arising and dropping. What we're aiming for here is a kind of stillness that allows it all to drop at once. One can also do a open awareness practice where the attention sort of bounces around and you drop whatever it lands on. But that's not where we're sort of leaning towards now. We're leaning towards a bigger and bigger zoomed out perspective until we are awareness, which takes in everything and drops it immediately. Awareness is there for anything you're experiencing now, any color, any sound, any feeling, internal or external. It's already there and it's already dropping it. The mind may be trying to not drop it, but awareness is dropping the mind. Automatically, automatic aliveness. Requires you to do nothing. So again, we are in and out, whole body, and all of that, if you wish to notice, is happening in awareness. In awareness, you can first just feel it as being the awareness that's around the body. And it's taking in the whole body and dropping the whole body automatically. But awareness is bigger than that. Awareness takes in everything. Takes in the whole mind, the whole body, and all sensory experiences automatically and drops them automatically. As you do this, maybe a concept of surrender becomes useful. So what we're doing here is surrendering to our whole experience and surrendering to what's next. I want you to know you're safe. We've created a still, silent environment for ourselves to sit in. You're in your home or in a room where you're safe. You've got shelter from the environment. You are fed. You're not going to be lacking food. Important to notice these things. You have protection from the world. Doesn't mean your life is perfect, but there's a lot of safety here. And for this meditation, you're safe. Nothing as bad is happening now. Nothing needs to be addressed now. And so we are allowed in this moment to surrender. And to surrender means to drop it. To allow it to arise just as it is, and to drop it, meaning allow it to go into whatever is next. This includes our most intense emotions and our most pleasant experiences. It is 11, Kamran, if you need to go, but we have 5 more minutes of this meditation. Whichever part of this meditation you're most focused in on now, we're just going to really start practicing dropping it. And maybe we'll change the label in our head to drop. We just drop this. And we drop this. And we drop this. They're saying any challenging experience only lasts a moment. The next moment may have a different challenging experience, but it will also only last a moment. Those of you who are trying or moving in the direction of awareness, of just sitting in awareness, awareness doesn't ultimately have a center. So it's not going to find one part more important than another. It's dropping everything equally. Now, it might not be how you experience it at first, but over time you'll notice awareness drops everything equally. If it doesn't feel like it's dropping it equally, that's the mind interfering with awareness and making a judgment about what's important. That's okay. But but the awareness can drop that mind as well. So allow the end of meditation to drop everything that happened in the meditation. You don't have to hold on to it. You can just be here now.